So I downloaded a piece of code that came from this website, which is, I mean, this guy's called himself Droid Projects. Quite interesting. So I'm taking a look through. Somebody actually asked a question. I think it was here on Stack Overflow. So here it is. I'm getting a problem whilst trying to follow this tutorial here. I was trying to write this code. It comes out with some error message. The name error screen is not defined. Let's just have a look there. Well, I mean, screen won't be, it hasn't been defined here. Because you need like screen equals, like it hasn't been declared for some reason. But anyway, like that aside, because it's already been answered. So there you go. You must initialize the display, da da da, and so forth. I thought, what is this? What is this website? Click on it, opens up this link. I go here, and I can't remember exactly which one I downloaded, but I downloaded one of these. They're all zip files here. It's a whole bunch of them. I think, in fact, it was this one, Dice Wars. I think I downloaded Dice Wars. So let's just go back onto that. Yeah, Dice Wars. There you go. So I downloaded that one, and it's kind of like actually like this person's written quite a nice piece of code. So I'm sort of like going to go through it, and it's good to see. And it's actually where if you saw the previous video that I created, it was on this like to do that got highlighted with a different syntax highlighting thing, and there was other things that you could highlight, which was the triple X and also Fix Me. So like a discovery that I found just looking through someone else's code. It's kind of like quite interesting. But what I think I might do, this is completely live, so I don't know if it'll work or not. But I might try and get it to run. So the first thing that wasn't working, and I don't. This was written. This code was written about 10 years ago. I think. Well, sorry, I know how when it was written. It was written in 2007. So what is it? We're in 2023. Was that 16 years ago? So a long, long time ago. But it's interesting just to look back at the code that was written that far, that long ago. So the first thing I've actually made this correction already, because this was just import, and then it was import singleton options here like this, but that's not it, or it doesn't exist singleton options. So I've gone along and fixed it. And the reason why that it doesn't exist, I'm like, well, I can see the file over here, singleton options, and we're in the run game file over there. So we're in run game and run game to current, and I'm like, well, I can see it there. And the reason why is that it's in a subfolder here, source. It's in this source subfolder. So I put a source.singleton options to get it to work. And maybe back in 2007 or whatever, that would have been Python version 2, one of the versions of version 2. And I know it is version 2 because of the print statements that we're going to go through and find out. But maybe in terms of like how Python looked at other files, maybe it didn't look at directory structure, so it's okay just to create a whole bunch of files in like nesting without sort of like needing the path name. Now that nowadays at least that would seem to be bad, and we know why that would be bad, because you could get naming conflicts quite easily, because if you had like I don't know, another folder, so you couldn't have two files with the same name in the same folder. But if you had like another folder and then a file with the same name, then you get a conflict and like a naming conflict. So this thing's definitely like a useful thing. So here you go, I got and fixed one bit of code. So now this run game bit works. So I'll actually hit Control S to save it. But then it goes to singleton options, and I can sort of like navigate my way around. So I right click and go to definition, and I go to, and it takes me to the main here, and I sort of like I can scroll through, and this is how I know that it's an older version. This needs brackets, because Python 2.7 and earlier, all of the Python 2s, they needed brackets. So there's possibly other things that don't work. I've just noticed something, which is over here we've got chat equals GUI, graphical user interface dot chat module. But I guess that one's, so here it has got a path name, which is interesting because that's in source. And it did require, so here so I'm talking about this line. If I do a double thing here, this line of code, chat equals GUI dot chat module. So the path has been put into this one, funnily enough. So it wasn't in the earlier one. I'm just going to go and correct all the things. I'm going to try and hit run at the end of it. I actually wonder if it will work. So I'll just put the brackets on that one. Now let's have a look. We scroll through just scroll through the code. I'm wondering what's the best way of troubleshooting all of this to sort of like get it to work. What one thing that I can do, so like one idea that I can do is I can just run it and then it will keep crashing. We might crash 100 times. So I might have a quick flick through. Here's a configure. That's configuring stuff. So there's a configuration file, screen width and screen heights and stuff like that. Again, it's quite nice the way that this code's actually been written, although you might argue that there's lots of files. Maybe you'll put these things into classes, possibly, maybe not. So it'd be interesting on opinions on that. Dice.py, I wonder even if the original developer. So again, print. This all here will go into brackets like that. And I'm certainly not picking faults with this code. It looks like it's good. It looks very well written, actually. So like, it's really been broken down into, or thought about at least. So that's got author, version and dates. This one here has got author, version and date. It's also got license and copyright. I wonder what this one's got. Author, version. So it's been written quite consistently there. Let's see, there's no errors in this one, or at least when I say no errors, all I'm looking for at the moment actually is a print statement more than anything else, I think, for errors. And I wonder if other things are going to fail in it, or I'm looking for anything that's got squiggly underscores or imports that don't link up to other files because they haven't been linked, like what I initially showed in the run game. So let's have a look at this one. There's a couple of things down below. We can see them because this is the breadcrumbs bit here. So let's just see what... There's a class Eliza. I don't even know what this class is. But here, a cheeky little Eliza knockoff of by Joe Stroud. I don't know. So, okay, he's referenced other people. It's quite nice the way that this has been written. This is well-written code, by the way. Like even for 2007, not even 4. This is well written code. This code is quite good. So like possibly there's stuff to learn. R here is regular expressions. So not regular expressions. R is it's just a string, like it's a literal string. It's one R string is here. So let's have a look. I need star. I don't know why that was needed. Like if you didn't have an R in it. Anyway, I won't get into that yet, although it's interesting that was used. There's loads of them. So it's just a whole bunch of, this is like a list of lists, I guess. That's a list. So that's a list of lists that contain lists in them. So again, I don't know if there wasn't tuples, for example, but that tuple, that's the first item. That's the first item, and let's just close a lot of my stuff that I've got open here. Just put the volume off as well. There we go. So that's a tuple. That's a list. There's 2 items in each of these lists. It's a list, and then so in the list there is a string, and then there's another list. And that list contains 3 more things, and that's kind of like consistently in there, some sort of questions and so forth. So we'll see what comes about from that. So that's what that is anyway. And again, there's only 2 spaces of indentation. The convention now is 4 spaces of indentation. Nothing wrong with that. That's probably just what it was at the time. Some people still use 2 spaces of indentation, although it's not really done that much more. And also, like, it's within this line. Within the 80 character thing, so this person's really stuck to like what I'll call good protocol. Really well written stuff. Well, there you go, one slippage there. Like if you're really trying to pick faults, but aside from that, it's quite good. We'll put the brackets here, and we'll put the brackets around all of them, I guess. So let's get these all in brackets. I might have done here because it looks like there's 3 lines, like a string concatenation, but it's done this way, which is fine. in a way, like, but the Python 3 and above introduced, oops, Control Z there, and just try that again. Python 3 and above actually introduced the brackets. Here it looks like an error. Therapist equals like maybe this guy was in JavaScript mode at the time, or C++ mode, because there's a semicolon ending the line there. Raw input meant something, so I might actually chat GPT that. Raw inputs, I think that just means input now, but just as a reminder, I'm actually going to I'm going to be so lazy, but I'm going to copy that and sort of like stick it into, no, I'm sticking it into Google Bar, not chat GPT. Brand name, but raw input, it'll probably tell me what it was, but I think we can just replace it for input. Raw input, yeah, I think so. That again is an indication that it was a version 2. This is just input. There we go, and print test there. So brackets, and finally on this print statement here, more stuff. Brackets. So that one's fixed. I guess I should Control S them, save that one, save that one, save that one. So we've done those 3. There's one thing down the bottom I see that's highlighted. In fact, like, you know, just going down the breadcrumbs, it's easier. This thing on the side is called the bread. But when I say breadcrumbs here, it's this little map on the side. It's called a mini map as well, I think. No, maybe not breadcrumbs. So I take that back. This little mini map on the side. We can see the red line over here, so I can sort of like go to the error messages as they were straight away. They're pretty much all going to be print statements for the most part, so I can save that one. Game.py, I had to browse through that one earlier on, but I didn't fix anything, so I'm going to fix it live. I just saw a self that was actually had an error in it, so that one's, but it's in the print statements, that's fine again. All of these ones in the print statements don't require too much brain power to fix. You just got to put the brackets around them. So I'm happy to see that it's just that. It looks like everything else is kind of like well written. To do hack, so there was some sort of hack in there. Don't know what hack. And there we go. So that one's done. So this is all fixed. Let's go to the next one. Game logic. So it doesn't like say what's like, but I guess the name tells us it's game logic. So again, just some print statements. There we go. Let's just go down far if I can find them. There's all of them over here. Right, they're all print statements again. One over there. I really wonder if this is going to run straight away after I fixed every one of these. So it'd be interesting to revamp something that's interesting, because it's got print. No, it's printing all of that. Okay, that is all in the print statement. So you print something and then you've got a comma, print something else, then something else, and something else. So can't select 2 lands of the same player, and then it gives you some option, and then it tells you a land or something. So I don't really know what it's about. I'm just fixing it at this point. I've got to keep this open, this sidebar open, but I'll shrink it a tiny bit. That's maybe why Python tells you, at least in their guide, as to like this red line here, so like don't go too much over the side. Although all modern browsers are, can perfectly, handle this fine, because our screens aren't tiny anymore. We can easily widen our screens if we wanted to. So, or shrink the fonts. I'm not going to shrink the fonts. We could shrink the fonts like that. But I'm going to make them bigger again, just so that we can see everything here in the video. Otherwise the fonts will be too small for the video. So let's just get that one done. And this one over here. And finally this one over here. Sometimes I navigate with the mouse and sometimes I navigate with the keys. So Control S, that one's saved. Here we go. One more. We can sort of see the linters help, because I can see that this is highlighted red, and it's got a number 1 next to it. So I think 1 means 1 error. We'll see that on the next one if there is errors. So Control S, that one's done. Let's go here. Yeah, 9 plus. It says 9 plus refers to errors, and actually if I did Control J, we can just see the problems. I can navigate to them this way. So it's the same thing. But each one again, statements must be separated by new lines or semicolons. That's not true. What it actually is every single time is this print statement. So I can sort of go there and actually click on them one by one. So that's a fast way of navigating it and doing it. Again, that one goes there. Next one. I'm using the keyboard now to go a bit faster. Oops, that slowed me down because I went too far. We see them disappear slowly one by one as they all get done. This looks like there's half a dozen more to do. So I'm still just fixing print statements. I think this is going to work. This will be interesting. I want to have a glance at the game. I wonder if I've got all the modules. Actually, I think I do have all the modules. If there's a module that doesn't work or also doesn't exist, it will pop up. And for the most part, all of the imports are actually just importing previous. They're just importing already existing modules, self-contained modules. So basically all of these files. So just one more. Let's click on it to get there and put the brackets around that one. And Control S. So that one's done. So we've got down to game stats. So let's start closing a few of them down. We don't need all of those dice. In fact, really, I guess we'll just keep the run game. Graphics. Let's have a look. There's 3 of them there. Let's just nav straight to it. Brackets on that one. Next one. Brackets around this one. I think there will probably be a Python 2 to Python 3, at least it was, because I have like earlier on where it was sort of like when the switch was a bit closer to home or closer to time, there was a Python 2 to Python 3 thing, and it would fix all of your print statements, but it's not the biggest deal in the world to do it, and actually finding it will go back. Like I've got queries about here, like is this going to work, self.world.grid grid to abs, because when it goes white in the IntelliSense, it may not exist somewhere, so you know we might get thrown an error message. So there's one error there on the print there, so let's get that one done. If I do it properly, there we go. So save that one, that's done. That one was saved. Game state, I think that was done. So graphics, we're good there. Grid demo, looks like we're good there. Grids, we're good there. Okay, we're flying through this now. There's 8 errors on that one. That did look good. This got a lot of code. I'm surprised there's no print statements in this, but there isn't. Or is there? There we go. We've got a little thing there. That didn't pop up on the. I don't think it's a critical error or anything having a semicolon in there by accident. So I think that code would run. So we were down there. Grids, I think was fine, wasn't it? That's got one error somewhere. Let's scroll down. I see the error down the bottom. Let's click on it. There we go. So save that one. I'm just going to go and have a look, just make sure that one's okay. I'm going to look for a number over here, basically, where the thing is. That one's done. That one's done. That's got 9 errors, and we can, again, they're all just print statements. So fix one of them. Fix the second one, fix the third one, fly through these quite fast, click on that to get there even quicker. Node, so it's branching through trees. If it says node, that's probably, it looks like that'll be like it looks like a linked list type of thing. So that's normally because you've got nodes and it's like go through the branches one by one. So this print statement here, this is an interesting one because it's got the backslash. So I think all of this here is inside the brackets. And I don't think the backslashes are needed actually anymore, because the minute that you've got brackets around everything, I believe that these can all go. So yeah, because they represented new lines, but in Python 3 the way of doing new lines is putting things in brackets, and this bit here is actually a division, so that's fine. So let's go to the next one. So I hope I haven't missed out other multi-lines on print statements now. That's worrying me, that because I was flying through that quite fast. Maybe there's other bits where the print statement was over multiple lines, although I don't think I noticed the backslashes, so I'll save that one. The one thing about creating loads of files, I mean, it's good on the one hand and it's bad on the other hand. Where's that? Find the error message there. Is that it breaks it all down into small pieces. But I guess something like this, where you come to fix it, you have to sort of like navigate through all the files, iterate through, because it's subfolders as well. So I've got to go through every file in every folder. Potentially, whereas if you wrote like one big large piece of code in one file, you could argue that it's then a big file, but the flip side is you could find all of these errors quite quickly, or you're always working the same thing. Now this is an interesting one. Print this, and then there's an error message here. It's just a print error again, that's fine. Okay, let's get this one resolved. There we go. There shouldn't really be, so I'm being lazy, but there shouldn't be a gap here after any of the prints. They should, but I'm just going super fast here just to get them all done. So let's just do that one. There's another print statement here. Control Z. What did I just do? Control Z. Okay, no, I think that was fine. The bracket back. I thought I overwrote something quickly, but didn't. Right, we haven't got that many to go. There we go, it's another one. That's the disadvantage of using the mouse. Sometimes the keyboard is, I don't know if there's an optimal. You just got to be careful either way. There we go, and that's it. So that one's all done. There's no more error messages, at least like blatant errors. I'm just looking for blatant errors at the moment. So we had that one done. We had that one done. Player.py. I think that was just fixed. Singletons, well, that was the first one, so that was fixed. And then templates, there's nothing in there, so that's good. We're going to data. That's a whole bunch of pictures, so that's fantastic. Let's have a look. I don't even know what they are. Fine, just a bunch of pictures. So that grid, more pictures, that's cool. So that's just images, events, some Py files there. There's an init.py. Let's have a look. That was init.py. Let's have a look. Wildcards, but I think that's okay. It's trying to do some stuff, that's fine. I didn't look at this one. There's no errors in that, fortunately. No errors in that, no errors in that one. Now the graphical user interface, so we're nearly there actually. This init's got no errors. Button.py, there's an error over here. We can see that straight away, and then there's two more of the same type of errors with the print statements. And finally that one there, which is just print t.parent. So that one's fixed. Control S and close it. Chat module, that looks fine. There's a tiny little file. It's only like 75 lines long. There's an if name equals main, this isn't going to run, or if you know the usual idioms. And then one class in here with that one class that's got an initialization and then one function inside it. So that's kind of like what it is, like globally, at least just sort of like looking at it. That one looks fine. Spinner, like I imagine a spinner's like a spin box on like a TK-Int or something like that. What it is, I'll just scroll down to get the error message. Didn't have to scroll. All different techniques to get to the same place. And here, because that's at the bottom, another t.parent. So we can save that one, and then text.py. Let's have a look. We're all good on that one, and then this one. 3 errors, same thing, easy to find. think we're done. That's it. That's all of the files. I'm going to press F5 to run everything. So it'd be nice if that was an executable. Actually, we could make it an executable. So you can make Python files executables. I've attempted to do it once or something. It's a little bit of a messy process, but I think it's quite easy to do. So that's it. I've gone through. I've navigated through all of the subfolders. I think that's everything. So I'll go to the run game. I'll just close everything as well. Close. And I guess I'll just hit F5. Like all it's going to do is it's going to run it sop.main. So import, try to do something. It's looking for an, that's just the, that's where this path main is. So it's looking at the source folder path main is what it's doing. So it's finding the absolute path. So where this current file is. And then it's doing a path os.path.join. So it's joining the current file to the source folder. So that's what it's doing. And it's calling that the absolute path. So let's have a little run. I've got no idea what's going to happen here. Okay, Python file. I think I can just hit run and let's see what happens. It's running. Oh, damn, error. No module named event dispatcher. Okay. But that's cool because I bet you there's event dispatcher. Where was that called from is the error message. I wonder, init.py. That's an interesting one. Init.py event dispatcher. Because event dispatcher is in the same folder. I wonder if, for example, we have to do again something like source dot event dispatcher. No. Oh, hold on. From event dispatcher. So maybe if it's in the source folder, from source dot event. No, it doesn't find it because they're not in the source files. So maybe events dot event. Import star. So there'll be a few of these errors, I think. So I can comment this one out, and I'll have to hit stop. And I'm probably going to have to be doing some fixes again, but I see one straight away, which is this events enabled. So again, I'm going to have to do a from events dot events enabled. I just wonder import start. This would be the tester because it may not work. Because the question is that this init.py is over here. That's the file that's open, and it's actually in the same folder. So like, I don't think I should have had to have done this events thing, kind of like, but maybe it's the path of where it's from. I'm going to hit Control S, and then we'll just run it. So that was that init file here. We'll see what happens. We might get thrown error messages from somewhere else. So hit F5 and let's just see what happens if we get an error in that same place. Or okay, no, different errors. So that did fix it, and it's going to be a similar thing here. And this is going to be, so this is going to be from GUI dot, and then whatever that was called, scroll text import scroll text, just like that. I love the IntelliSense. It makes your life so easy. So I'll hit stop there. And and I can see that I'm going to need the same thing from. So each one of this is text entry is going to need a GUI dot. What else are we going to need? Scroll text. That's popped up twice. So that's because that was the one I fixed. So funnily enough, that means that this one got passed and this one failed for some reason. So that's an interesting one. I will move. Oh no, actually that's not true. It'd be that one there. So scroll text was that one. I'm just going to stick a GUI dot in front of that chat module, so that exists, and spinners in there. GUI dot, and then there's another size. GUI dot. From here, you could have actually imported spinner and comma item like that. You didn't have to have 2 lines, but because it's such a small file, you get like I guess that's the advantage of having small files. GUI dot. This scroll text one here we can comment out now because we know that's not right. And then finally text, so everything's in there. So GUI dot. There we go. Save that. I'll keep that file open. That was the other init.py. So let's have a little. So it's initializing that. This init.py, I think that's how, by the way, if you've got like nested folders, how you call other files, it's basically, or how you import other functions like that are nested in sub-nested things, because you can't just keep calling them indefinitely. Python doesn't let you do that, and I'll post a video on that. So let's just go back to the original now. We'll try and run the game. F5, let's have a little bash, see what happens. Oh, damn. Okay, but let's have a look. Text entry. Where are we in? We're in chat module. Text entry. So it's going to be the same thing. I think we're going to put a GUI dot text entry. Import GUI dot text entry. The one thing about that import is that if text entry somewhere here, we'll do a find because it comes up 3 times. That's now going to have to be a GUI.text entry, and we're going to have to find that again somewhere else. No, that's fine. I think it only popped up in the one place. So save that one. There's bound to be more error messages. Run it again. Let's see what happens. I guess that's one of the, you could call it the disadvantages of not strongly typed languages, where or compiled at runtime languages, so scripting languages basically, is that you only know the errors when you've hit the errors. Theoretically, you should be testing a lot. I guess I'm fixing very, very legacy code, so maybe I should have run this on Python 2.7. And then I would never have any of these issues. So I'm upgrading code, so it's one way of doing it. So again, I'll hit stop there. Probably this is going to probably be a GU. The problem with all of these is that they'll probably all need to be, or I can get away with it, put as scroll text. That's a good cheat. Let's have a look. Events. Where is events? So I don't see events in here, which is import events. It should come in somewhere. I don't know where. Chat module. Where's events? There's nope. There's event types. So I don't even know. Here, let's go to definition. Somewhere. I don't know. It's an interesting one. We'll see anyway. I guess in Pygame import. Okay, Pygame. Events is probably just a module. No, I don't know where that is. Go to definition. Init PyC level events. C. Source events in it. So it's in the source folder. Source events. this is the breadcrumbs bit here. I can see it popping up init.py. Okay, points to the init.py. Oh, because it's coming from here. Okay, fine. Let's have a look. Let's just see. This is all path related. I hit save. I think these things have, well, everything that I've done I'm going to call fixed. So F5, let's try and run it. Oh, that was good. Okay, but our events thing here, module events has no attribute root server. Right. Go to definition. Events dot. Because there is no module events, it's events dot something basically. So root source, okay. Possibly, I don't know. I probably have to add in this events dot root source. Module events has no attribute root events source. Okay. I'm just going to do it. So from events dot root event source import start. I wonder if that would be. I don't think that's going to be. Because then it'd just be add listener. I'm just wondering if that fixes it. I'll put a to do here. To do now. I'll put an XXX. I'll put a triple X here. I'm going to use it. I'm going to hit stop. I'll hit save. I don't know if that's going to fix it. We'll try. I'll hit F5 now just to run it. Let's have a look. I don't think that. I'm not sure 100% if that fixes it. No. From event dispatcher import. Oh, okay, fine. It moves on to another error. So again, event dispatcher is there, so it's going to be in events dot event dispatcher import event dispatcher. So that should be fixed now as well. We're just going, like, we're just fixing one error at a time here. If not self, okay. Dict has no attribute has key. That's what I was worried about. Does has key. This one here. Is checking for a key. So I'm just going to stick it into Bard because Bard is a bit quicker than ChatGPT. I think this was Sonic Legacy, but let's have a look. The has key method is depreciated in Python 3.0 and later. Instead, you should use the in operator. There we go. You should use the in operator. It says something like if this is in. So, and here's going to be the example, I guess, if one in my dict. So it's going to be like that. So that's your dictionary. So it's going to be something like if events type and I'm just wondering if I need the quotate. I think I do probably. I know, okay. in. It might be not in. That's the only query I've got there. That'll check if it's in it. So I'm imagining if this is not in this, which is self dot underscore event dispatch colon, that I'm hoping replaces that line. And this is the thing, like, so I was fixing all of the obvious errors, the print statements. That's a different type of error. So if event is not in, like, there's going to be other errors like add listener. I bet you that one's going to throw, like, well, that might not throw an error. If event type not in, if not, I think that should be fine. I'm going to hit save. I'm just going to go back where I put that triple. This one was fixed, so I don't need that triple X. I think that was fine. I'm just going to try run it again now. F5. Let's see if we get a different error. Where the error is going to come. Ooh, okay, we've moved on. So that will fix that error. There's no error here anymore. We might have more errors that we come about, but we're fixing them one by one. Population must be a sequence for dict or sets to use sorted. Okay, so again, population must be a sequence. What's that? I don't even know what the error is. Sample. Population must be a sequence. It's got a type error, okay. But I'm just going to, I don't know if this is going to, something needs to be sorted. For dicts or sets, you use sorted. The random.sample, okay, it's a problem with the random.sample function in Python requires a population to be a sequence. This means that you cannot use a dictionary or set as the population. Okay, if you need to sample from a dictionary or set, you can use the sorted function to convert it. So maybe I can just get away with sorting the dict. So, you know, I'll just like take a sorted there. And where is the dictionary itself? I guess it's all of that. I'm imagining that this is in brackets. Oops, Control Z, because I put my brackets in the wrong place. This is all in brackets and it's actually sorted. There we go. So I think, stop. That error is now fixed. So we'll hit save and we'll run it. Hopefully we don't hit that error anymore. Still fixing errors one by one. I have a feeling there's going to be more errors. Dict object, okay, we had that one before. It's something like if we've got to use that in keyword. So if cell in self dot underscore, what was it, world, there we go. Love the IntelliSense. So because this time it's just checking that it's got the key, so that has key once existed. Dot world, I guess dot cells. I'm just wondering if that's because that's dot self dot world dot cells, but I've done, when I did self dot world, it didn't have a dot cells. It's because it'd be that. So I'm just going to do that. Again, I don't know if that fixes it or not, so comment this line out. I'll hit stop. because surely the has key's been called on .cells, but I don't. On self dot underscore world dot cells, underscore means hidden method. Oh, the underscore world pops up absolutely everywhere. This is a game where I might go right to do or something and sort of like have a look around because I don't want to lose my place. It's line 139. But like, what I'm concerned is that self dot underscore world doesn't have a dot cells to it. So maybe I could go to its first instance or something. Self.world, go to definition. There we go. Go to definition. Okay, in self.world, I guess. Let's just try and close it. I think we're still on the same line actually. Close that one. Oops. Just close it. I'll hit save. We'll try and run F5, see what happens. We are getting closer, slowly. Although, like, right, here we go. Map generator is not iterable. Type map generator is not. Don't even know. It's not an iterable. So I wonder, do I have to do something about that? Because I don't know what self.world is, right? Argument type map generator. So if cell in self.world, right? I just stuck that one into the Google Bard. There's my, I literally copied and pasted it there. The error message argument of map generator, it means that the function you are trying to call expects an iterable object as an argument, which would be the self.world. So it's not like a dictionary, I guess. Because what did I comment out? Because that is expecting it to be a dictionary, I guess. A map generator, so it cannot be passed. That should be a dictionary of some kind. So I think I might stop here just because the video is getting a little bit long. We're already at 50 minutes. In fact, like if you've got if you know the answer to that, definitely post it in the comments section as to how that would fix it. But I've probably got a whole bunch of other comments to go through and fix as well. Definitely my iterable for item in iterable. I'm just going to scroll back quickly. But I think just making sure that was a sorted one. If the word that I should have used is in. Let me just check one other thing. If in, no, that's fine. Yeah, that was using over here. The has key was replaced by the, so okay, it's not that I used the in operator. I think I've used the in operator correctly here because we're checking that. Maybe if I hammer in this dot. The problem is I don't think .cells exists. I'm going to stop this anyway afterwards. But I've just changed that to .cells because there's a .cells here and that's at least consistent. So, and I'll hit F5. If the error message goes elsewhere, we've bypassed the error. Doesn't mean that there's other things. Let's have a look. Right, okay, it has passed that error. Different error, float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. That one's a bit more of an easier one, I think. Or is it number? I am imagining that number of cells here. If I go here, copy that. I keep saying I'll stop and I don't stop because it's quite addictive fixing this. That's 21.6. So that one, funnily enough, is not a... That would have always been an error. So that's not a Python 2.7 to Python 3 error. That's actually just an error in the sense that you are always going to go through... the range requires an integer to be in there. So, like, my quick fix for that is it's going to be an int over here. and close brackets. That would fix it. But I'm literally going to say that's an error. That's 21.6. If anything, it's going to be. I don't know if that should be like round it down to 21, or should it be 22? So I don't know what that means. The number. Like, are we going to miss out an edge case or hit a boundary condition because we've gone over? Because I don't know how a fraction, so a float, makes it into the range functions. That would have always thrown an error in the code. So it's probably a good place to stop. The code itself is, well, you can see the website here. It is droid.bitbuckets. I might copy that into the chat. So any comments or anyone that does fix it, definitely leave your comments. It's quite an interesting one because you get to see someone else's code from like a decade ago. I'm going to try and fix it on my own separately and attempt to get the game running. So like there was a lot of things to do. Well, not fix it because it may have been working, but certainly upgrade it from Python certainly to 0.7 or earlier, like one of the two versions, to Python 3. I'm running Python 3.11 here, so it's kind of like, I guess if I say that I'm upgrading it, control normally gets it. There you go, Python 3.11 is what I'm running. So I'll leave it there. That's the end of this little session, fixing some code to try to get a game working, and so like learning a little bit or going through the debug process in the meantime as well. So that's it, and I'm signing off.